everyone and their fucking mom is talking about spiritual awakenings right now, you know? And I get it, it's cool, it's exciting, but I feel like people are kind of overusing it and they don't even know what they're talking about anymore. So I'm gonna give my take on what I think spiritual awakening is. So basically, it's just when you start questioning stuff, like who you are, why you believe what you believe, why you're living the way you're living, you know? And I feel like a lot of people just expect it to be some beautiful enlightenment moment, but it's not usually like that. Um, they usually tend to start with some kind of catalyst, like something bad happening to you that really messes you up, like a death in the family or friend. You could go through a bad breakup, a health scare, just something. It could be really traumatic that just messes your life up, and you start questioning some things in your life that you probably haven't questioned since you were like 7. You're just like, why do I believe this? Why am I doing this? Why does it feel the way it does? Your life feels like it's falling apart because of this catalyst, and then you start questioning things. And the reason that we stop asking these questions is because of the ego. And now the ego isn't just like being full of yourself. That's not what I mean by ego. What I mean is it's the identity that you built your whole life. It's the version of you that was programmed since a kid by parents, teachers, your religion, stuff like that. And the ego's job is to protect what you believe. So when something challenges it, it pushes back and it pushes back hard. Like you definitely seen this, when you show someone proof that something they believe in is wrong and they just don't care. Like they'll just ignore it or they'll dig in harder. Like it's not stupidity. That's just how it works. And we all do it. That's the whole point. So the awakening is about catching yourself doing that. And when you actually start looking at your own beliefs with fresh eyes, it can be pretty intense. Some people fall so deep into it that like they feel like they don't even know who they are anymore. That's what people mean when they say ego death, as weird as it sounds. Plato described this perfectly before any of us were born. It's the allegory of Plato's cave. So you imagine that these people are chained in this cave their entire lives, and they only ever see these shadows on the wall. So they think that's their whole reality because that's all they've ever seen. They think the shadows are the world. But one of the guys eventually breaks free and he walks outside the cave, and the sunlight is blinding him. And his first instinct is to go back inside because that's at least inside made sense, even though outside is the truth. He wants to go back to the way things were just because he understood it. And I feel like this is what a spiritual awakening is pretty similar to. There's a quote from Jesus that I think people sleep on a lot. He said, "You have to become like a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven." And I think what he's saying is that kids just don't pretend to have everything figured out. They ask questions and they're cool with not knowing. And I feel like when we get older and our ego gets in the way, we just start thinking that we have all the answers. And I think that's kind of where we go wrong. So, a spiritual awakening isn't necessarily this whole big enlightenment and peace and meditation and all this stuff. I mean, it can be, but I think at its core, a spiritual awakening is kind of just being forced to admit that you don't have all the answers and you don't know what's going on. It's just asking questions. But yeah, that's all I got for the video today. I just wanted to hop on and talk about spiritual awakenings. But I hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, thanks for watching.